Sam Darley here again, and now I'm going to break down the NFC East draft needs for the Miami Dolphins. Well, in the offseason, Miami made a huge splash, signing pretty much Zamakinsu to every bit of dollars they have in their salary cap. Oops, now they don't have much salary cap room to sign anybody else. Good job, Miami. Sue's a great player. He really is. But I don't think I would have broke the bank on him. Simply because he's a defensive tackle. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a very important position to play. Every excuse me. Every position is important. It's the ultimate team sport. You need everybody to play well. But Sue does not impact the game as much as a guy like J.J. Watt. And he got paid as much as a guy like J.J. Watt. Sue is a menace in the backfield, but he doesn't... it's not like... obviously you have to game plan for him. But can he stay on the field? He did last year. But he had that stomping incident. And you just wonder about the discipline. Is he... he's not much of a disciplined player. And you wonder now what the Dolphins have left in their salary cap room. To me, you don't spend it all on one player. Excuse me. That's the problem NFL fans have these days. Is everybody wants their team to spend all their money on one or two guys because they're fantastic. If I can get four really good players for a price of one player, like I'll use the Houston Texans signings of Daniel Manning and Jonathan Joseph back in 2011. They were in the discussion to get Nnamdi Asomugha. But what Nnamdi got paid in Philly is what Houston was able to dish out between Joseph and Manning. And those two, in their first couple of years with Houston, the Texans got two really good players, two really impactful players for one Asomugha. And Asomugha did nothing in Philly. So you gotta be careful, buyer beware. Excuse me. And like Albert Hainsworth, he got paid a lot of money. That Zamakinsu made. Excuse me for a second. There. To keep that cough away from me a while. You don't overspend because you need to make a big splash. It's okay to go get guys I'll use my Texans. They went out, they filled team need after team need after team need. Like Raheem Moore, they needed safety help. They still need depth on the defense. But they also got Will Forte. They got two quarterbacks. I don't know, everybody's going to say if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. Well, obviously, when you're having a quarterback competition, you really don't have a quarterback. But my point I'm trying to make is, don't just go out and spend the big money because you can. Spend it on impactful players. Because those are the guys, seriously, the team that spent the most money in free agency, not this offseason, but last offseason, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they went 2-14. So, just because you spend a lot doesn't mean it's going to produce a lot. You have to draft right. And that brings me to my point. That brings me to my question of what do they need in the draft. Well, because Ryan Tannehill seems to struggle with his deep ball, I would say a vertical receiver, but Tannehill's a good quarterback. But I don't trust him when it comes to throwing that deep ball. He's not consistent. He's got an arm. He can get it downfield. He's not accurate. He's not accurate with his deep ball. They also need a running back. They need an every down back. They need help a lot more on offense than on defense. Their defense is pretty good up front, but their secondary, it seems to be I seem to be breaking a record. Every video I've made about teams, what teams need in the draft, because most of them need secondary help. Except for the Seahawks. That's the only one team I didn't say. Well, no, I did say they needed secondary help. But the Dolphins need to add to their defense a little bit, just a little bit. But their offense needs some work. Excuse me. Miami's a really nice place. I actually question, do players, when they get drafted, when they get signed by Miami, do they play hard? Because it's such a relaxed place. I've been there. It's a really, it's paradise to me. To me, it is. So I wonder, when players go to Florida and sign, because it's so nice and sunny, warm, and there's so many things to do over there. You got South Beach. I wonder, do players play hard? Do they give everything they've got? Or are they just partying it up every Friday and Saturday night? So you have to ask that question with teams like Miami and Tampa and Jacksonville. Because, I mean, Jacksonville, it's a small town. It's still in Florida. Pretty sure they're not too far from a really nice spot in Florida, like where there's a nice beach or something. Or there's a few clubs or something. I question whether players actually play hard. And I read an article last year about some teams, some GMs around the league feel that when teams go to Miami or Jacksonville or Tampa, it's a vacation. That can be kind of troubling. And when I'm speaking about the Dolphins, I'm not sure if Joe Philbin is the right coach. They finished 8-8, and they seem to be really consistent at that. They're not a playoff team. They weren't. I didn't think they were a playoff team last year, and I don't think they are this year. Even with a good draft, they've got a lot to work on. They got a lot of offense to fix, and Philbin has to prove this year that he can coach them to the playoffs. I think they're the fourth. I think they're the weakest team in this division. I do. I think Buffalo, if they find a quarterback, they're going to be strong. The Jets have a decent defense, and Todd Bowles is a good defensive coach. The quarterback position for them is going to be big. They got good receivers. They got a running game. They're in better shape than Miami. But Miami right now looks like the weakest team in the division, and they've got a lot of needs. I think it's mainly offensive line, running back, wide receiver. They lost Charles Clay. They lost Charles Clay. I don't know if they didn't get. Well, they're gonna need a tight end now. They're gonna need a tight end that can make. They lost him to Buffalo. Oh, that is another reason why Buffalo is going to be strong this year. Just another weapon for whoever that quarterback is going to be. Miami right now is the weakest team in that division, and I don't think they're going to be able to. 8-8 would be a pretty big step this season, even though they finished 8-8 the last 2 years. I just don't think they're anything better than an 8-8 type team. Their defense is good. Their offense needs a lot of work. But tell me what you think the Dolphins need. I think they need a lot of offense. Offensive line help, running back, wide receiver, tight end maybe. But tell me, what do you think they need? This has been the Sam Darley Show. Thanks for watching.